Hello. This video is about the Biden interview on Univisión. The English language is the one language I know of that is the most disrespectful of other world international languages. Many English speakers think, for some reason, that they must translate any international language word into their precious English and strip them of their accent marks rather than keeping those words authentic to their original language and pronouncing them as authentically as possible. And if they happen to mangle the word, many English language speakers think that's very funny. They start laughing about it. Instead, it shows their disrespect for the other languages, as well as the person's ignorance of said language and their lack of preparation. Whoopi Goldberg is notorious for this. She's never prepared when she introduces someone from the Espanol language network, Univisión. She never says the network name correctly, as it's pronounced in Espanol, and then she laughs about it. Yes, she thinks it's very funny when she mangles the name of the network in front of the guest from the network. It's pathetic, really, and English language speakers, especially people who only know English, if that, are notorious for botching the correct pronunciation of Univisión. They try to make it an English word. And I have to ask, why would they do that? It's not an English language network. When they're doing this, they never ask themselves, why would an Espanol language network have an English name? There is such a disconnect there. So whenever Univisión is the topic, I usually avoid listening to any English language source because I know they will say the name of the network incorrectly. I was watching the France network about the Biden interview with Televisa Univisión, and their news presenter at France said Univisión as if it were an English network. So he quickly lost credibility with me. Then he went to the reporter and she said Univisión perfectly. He should have checked with her first, since there appears to be no network standards these days anywhere for consistency in pronunciation of international words. I'm allergic to politics, so I didn't watch the interview, and as of this time I've not seen much about it. People were furious with Enrique's interview with that piece of basura who resided in the White House before Biden took over. So I was curious what approach Enrique, the interviewer, used with Biden. Did he serve as a doormat, as he did for the former White House resident, or did he take a more credible journalistic approach with Biden? I think he did the latter, but I'm not positive. Being a musician trained in the classical music tradition and with my orchestra chorus background, I'm a language person. With the orchestra choruses, the chorus director always brought in a language coach to train the chorus in the language we would be performing in to guarantee language authenticity. We did not try to put the text from other world languages, whether it was Russian, German, Italian, or Latin, as some examples, into and make them English language words, and no credible chorus would do that. If we had done that, we would never have been invited back. And the music critics would have said regarding the chorus's performance, their Deutsch, German, sucked, quite frankly, or whatever the language we were performing in. And that's because credible orchestra choruses are expected to sound authentic to the language they are performing in. The chorus is drilled thoroughly by the language coach that's brought in to rehearsals. I remember when Robert Shaw's outstandingly superb Atlanta Symphony Orchestra chorus performed in Deutschland, Germany, with one of their major orchestras. The music critic in Deutschland said that the Deutsch, German, from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra chorus was better than the Deutsch from the choruses in Deutschland. Well, that's not really surprising because some choral ensembles get sloppy, if they're not careful, when singing in their first language. Meanwhile, it seems that the average person, including those at news networks, couldn't care less how they say things. There's often no consistency even within the networks. One person will say Iran, which is correct and authentic to the region, and the next person will say Iran and sound like Mr. and Ms. Hick who just got off their farm tractor. There's also this major disconnect when referring to the people of Iran, who are called Iranians. Reporters in Iran say Iranian, or Iranians, plural, but everywhere else that I've heard, including in the EU, I've heard the strange word Iranians, even after they refer to the country as Iran. Iran becomes Iran. Why? They add this mysterious I vowel to the word that's not there. It's as if most people never think about what they say. They hear one person say something and copy that, even when it's wrong. Just like one will hear one person say Iraq, which is correct, and another person will say Iraq, which is unfortunately many proudly ignorant people in the U.S. say. There's also the mispronunciation of the word missile versus missile. A missal is a book used in the Catholic Church. It's the detailed document governing the celebration of the Mass of the Roman Rite. A missile is an object which is forcibly propelled at a target. But most people in the media say missile instead of the correct pronunciation, missile, correctly used in British English. Most in the U.S., using U.S. English, use the wrong word, of course. And, of course, I live under no illusions that anything will change with this topic. I expect English language speakers, especially those people who can barely get through U.S. English, and those who don't also speak Espanol, to continue to botch the network name Univisión. One wonders how they pronounce gracias when trying to make that an English word. Do they say grace I ass? And to you, the viewer, gracias for your company and for watching.